As another year comes to a close, I felt it might be worth looking at how the modern calendar of 12 months, leap days, and more came to be. On a global scale, the nearly universal calendar is the Gregorian calendar. While some nations and churches use different calendars, the focus on this video will be on this specific one. The origins of the calendar go back to the founding of Rome. Rome's founder Romulus is said to have created a calendar of 10 months with 31 and 30 days. There isn't much historical fact to back this up, but oh well. At the end of these months, there would be a period of time during the winter which would go without months, counted until the new year began. This was obviously an imperfect system, and it said Romulus' successor, Numa Papilus, revised the calendar. As with Romulus, this claim doesn't have too much factual evidence to back it up. Either way, the revision added 2 more months. Roman culture believed even numbers were bad luck, and as such, the total number of days in a month consisted between 29 and 31, except for Februarius, which was a month of purifying. In 46 BC, Julius Caesar revised the calendar to a near modern state. The number of months and number of days per month were at their modern equivalent. The Earth doesn't rotate around the sun at a perfect 365 days, and to fix this, an extra day was added every 4 years in February. Those inconsistencies of timekeeping before had led the years to waver from proper alignment with the sun, so it was decided to add days to the year. Because of this, 46 BC was 445 days long, with 2 whole additional months added. As Rome grew, the calendar became more universally accepted. Christian religious calendars became intertwined with the Julian calendar, and so as Christianity spread, so too did the calendar. In 525 AD, a monk named Dionysius Exodus created the concept of Anno Domini, or AD. He calculated that 525 years prior, Jesus was born. At the time, the most popular dating method was Anno Mundi, in which the year was around 6000 at this time, dated from when Christians at the time believed the earth was formed. It was prophesied that the second coming of Jesus would arrive around 6000 AM, or what happened to be 500 AD, and some believed Exodus dated AD at 525 to avoid the controversy if it didn't happen, which it didn't. No major change seemed needed until 1582. By this point, the faults of the Julian calendar were becoming more evident. The Julian calendar had calculated leap days with 1 needed every 4 years, but over time, this wasn't quite accurate enough. The Earth rotates around the Sun every 365.2425 days, and the Julian calendar only accounted for 365.25 days. That 0.02 difference may seem null, but over the course of 1500 years, signs began to show. Solstices would no longer line up, and this meant that the dates of religious holidays couldn't be as accurately found. To solve this, Aloysius Lilius created what would become the basis of our modern calendar. Every 4 years would be a leap year, just like the Julian calendar. But years divisible by 100 would skip the leap year. Years divisible by 400 would keep the leap year, however. This would make each start of the century skip leap years, unless they were years divisible by 400. Pope Gregory XIII approved, and in October 1582, the calendar was adopted. The Julian calendar had drifted away from the accurate date, as the calendar loses a day for every 128 years. To account for this, October 4th was followed by October 15th. At the same time, the days of the week were not changed, so instead of going from Thursday, October 4th to Monday, October 15th, it went Thursday, October 4th to Friday, October 15th. Confusing? Well, imagine how they felt. This new calendar was known as the Gregorian calendar, named after the Pope, and its influence was immediately felt in Catholic states like France, Spain, and more. Over time, the influence of these states made the calendar popular to non-Catholic areas as well. Resentment of changes did exist in many locations, so it took nearly 2 centuries for empires like Great Britain to adopt it, and until the early 1900s for nearly all nations to use it. Globalization made keeping universal time more of a necessity rather than a convenience. As global trade and communication became more commonplace, differences in dates could result in disastrous miscommunication. At the same time, growing empires such as Great Britain and Spain could spread influence across the world, and the Gregorian calendar took its place as the global calendar. Needless to say, many calendars have existed in the past, and many continue to be used to this day traditionally. This is Cody, of Knowledge Hub.